Hello everyone, we are back and we are going to talk about the Korean series Heavenly Ever After that came out this year as well, right, on Netflix. This series has 12 episodes, and in this video we'll cover what I saw of the first 4 episodes for now. Okay, first of all, I love different concepts of the afterlife, right? Big fan of The Good Place. If you didn't watch it, recommend always. So I wanted to see what this one is about. Let's check, if you want spoilers, no spoilers, the timestamps on the video. I'm gonna put it here on the screen somewhere. We're gonna first start talking about the project, then we're gonna do a brief review without spoilers, and then a review with spoilers, more in depth, and then we're gonna do a conclusion of these first episodes, okay? So, the project itself, right? First of all, let me list here for you the director and the writers, because I'm gonna show their previous work here and I'm sure you're gonna get the vibe. There's a vibe going on from their past works and this one, and if you know the past works, you're gonna understand better. If you don't, and you like Heavenly Ever After, then you know where to go next from here. So the director is Kim Soo-kyun. The writers are Lee Nam-gyu and Kim Soo-jin. And their past works here, let's calm down, I'm gonna show the images on the screen as well. My Liberation Diary. Yes, those who know. It's a very well-known K-drama. Daily Dose of Sunshine. Another one, very impactful one. And The Light in Your Eyes. Okay? So, yep, you can get the vibe, and the vibe is emotional, right? So, based on that, let's start reviewing a little bit. First of all, how cool is to see a project with a very old woman as protagonist, right? That's very fun from the start. Besides the whole afterlife thing, that's something as well that caught my attention, right? They have the older woman appearing, and she's not just a flashback on the screen, she is the actual protagonist, and she does fill a screen most of the time. And a note here for everyone that is considering watching. As much as the theme and the trailer of this drama are gonna sound a bit weird, and it is sometimes a bit weird, it is also a big tearjerker. So watch out for that. If you're ready to cry, be prepared for that. This summary is that we meet Lee Hae-suk, an 80-year-old woman who works as a debt collector, right, to make money. She takes care of her bedridden husband, called Nak-jun, and her adoptive daughter, Lee Yoon-ge, helps her with all this process of collecting debt and of taking care of her husband. Okay, that's the premise we start in the first minutes of the drama. You can see, even though they are shown as two 80-year-old people, and not many people are used to seeing romance represented on screen at this age, even though it's obvious that people continue having romance at this age, right? We are presented with Hae-suk and Nak-jun, and their romance is very tender and it's very sweet, very well portrayed, right? It got me really emotional, right? You know, growing old with someone and still having this amazing relationship, right? So this is very well done in this drama. If you like to see that, which is something very unusual, right, then you should watch it definitely. And then we have the relationship between Hae-suk and Young-ae, right? Even though they kind of have this, it's not very initially seen as a mother and daughter relationship, it's more humor based and it tries to be very comedic. But as the time passes, you actually realize that this relationship is way deeper than we expected, right? And there's a whole story about how she came to be her adoptive daughter, and how she reacts to what happens to Heisuk and other things during the series, right? It's a very, even though it tries to be comedic, when you look deeper into it, it's very emotional as well. This drama, as like I said, you're gonna feel the vibe from the previous work. Right away, right on the first episode, we are faced with many delicate themes, such as aging, right? Taking care of a loved one that is aging or ill as well. Death, right? The imminent death of us all. That becomes even more factual as we grow old, right? How we deal with our self-worth, right? Being a caretaker can sometimes affect your self-worth in a way that you may feel you only have value if you're taking care of other people, right? We see that on Heisuk. That is something that is mentioned on the drama very well. So a lot of delicate things are brought into this drama. Remembering that this is the part without spoilers, so I can't go on deeper of why or when they are brought on. But if you like this kind of talk, if you like this kind of context, I recommend you watch it. A point that it's good to note is that there is a lot of inherently Korean references and behaviors in the series, right? That maybe if you're not used to it, if you're used to only Western media, then you might feel a bit off. And I mean, it's literally in direction, images, and then the actual character's behavior, right? There's a lot of Korean culture involved. So if you're not used to that, you might find it weird sometimes. But I recommend that doesn't stop you from continue watching if you like the themes that I mentioned here, because you get used to this, to consuming different content, and it actually brings a lot of value to the table. So I'm gonna go to the spoilers now. Alert, spoilers. If you don't want to spoilers, then you can skip to this timestamp again shown for the conclusions, right, of the review. But if you like spoilers, then stay here with me and let's talk spoilers. Let's start. Well, let's start with the whole, like I said before, Heksuk and Yoongae relationship, right? Their mother and daughter relationship. In the first episodes, right, we see the death of Heksu, right? Her husband dies of old age, and then she dies, right? And Yoongae portrays so well how we feel when we know that people close to us are getting closer to death, right? And how we deal with the grief afterwards. Even though she is a very comedic character, the actress portrayed the serious scenes when it needed to be serious and it needed to be deep very well. You feel it in your heart and you want to cry with her. And like I said before, this drama is a big tearjerker. I cried a lot. And still in episode 1, a little more spoilers and a little more crying, if you might. If you watch it, the firefighter trying to save that little girl from the fire, and then arriving in heaven and the whole scene, and then fighting her there. If you watch that without crying, you are strong. You are too strong. I am actually suspicious of you because that is so emotional, right? And it's another big slap on our faces about how that is uncontrollable, right? And sometimes you're gonna try to save people and you can't. And old people die, but young people die too, children die, and accidents happen, right? So you're faced with a lot of impactful stuff like that. So if you're watching here, listening to the spoilers to know if you have the emotional capacity for that right now, know that that is something that is shown, right? Sometimes people don't deal that well with that, with accidents and child being involved. So know that this does show up. It is not a big point, right? But it is an impactful point. You know, it's not a longer shown, but it is a very strong impression as well. Okay, so then from episode 2, right after Heisuk dies, we finally see the afterlife. What is the afterlife in this context here, right? What it's going to be like here in this series. And for me, the afterlife here is as kind as it is mocking, and it's as we like it and then we feel weird at the same time, right? And this is intentional, I'm sure, because that's how Heisuk feels, right? She's glad that she's in the afterlife and she's in heaven, but she also feels very uncomfortable in this unknown place. And this team is gonna stay with us during the whole. I mean, I don't know if the whole series, but for sure the whole 4 episodes I watched. Um, and then after that, we see Heisuk meeting her husband in the afterlife, right? Like I said, he died too. Uh, and before, when they were old together, he said to her that he liked her old as well, that he valued all all the life that she had to grow old like that. So she chooses to stay old and appearance, right, to meet him there because she trusts his opinion. And then when she meets him, he's young and he's healthy, right? And she becomes very she's extremely upset because he said something to her and he didn't follow, and now she looks old and he's young and healthy, and she becomes very insecure and uncomfortable with that, right? And what we can see in the deeper meaning of Hisuk actions, even though they might seem immature, they actually are way deeper, right? We can feel from this point onward, for the next episodes, we're gonna understand how Heisuk can't really find her value and find her place in other people's life if they don't need her, right? Because now her husband is healthy and young and he doesn't need her necessarily to survive, and she can't understand the concept that he might still want her. She becomes very upset because she thinks she's no longer wanted, right? She like I said, she's a caretaker and she mixed those two signs, right? Being needed and being wanted as the same thing. So if you don't need me, you don't want my partnership. And that hits very heavy, right? I'm sure many people are gonna relate with that. Uh, once someone that you used to help maybe gets on better feet, they you feel like they may no longer interact with you in the same way, right? Because you have that kind of insecurity, right? So that's another heavy theme that is brought onto here, but it's done very well. I think everyone acts very well here, and the script is not trying to push this into your face, and that's why I said sometimes it seems immature. Because they are not spelling it out to you. You have to understand her character, understand where she comes from, to understand that it comes from a place of insecurity and thinking she's no longer wanted just because he doesn't need her. And then we go on to episode 3 and 4, and we are introduced many new characters, the concepts of hell, and more. And also, I almost forgot a big, very nice concept here. Our pets go to heaven. Our pets go to heaven as people, and we actually meet them. And that's amazing. And that's another scene that makes me cry because, who doesn't cry when thinking about pets in heaven? So that's very worth to see. So as we go on to the episodes, Hyesuk, on her feeling uncomfortable and being upset and being denial about certain things, she start acting a bit rudely, which is, I mean, we understand on her point. And she realizes that we are still dealing with the concept of judgment, even though after that, right, her actions in heaven matter, and she still can be sent to hell. We discovered that, right? And then everything is even more complex when a woman without memories is searching for her husband in heaven, right? For Naksun, and Naksu doesn't remember this woman, but this woman says, "I don't know anything else, but I know that I am meant to meet you," right? So so Heisuk is already insecure about her marriage as she looks older now, and he doesn't. And then a new young woman starts saying that she knows him. So it's a lot of tension, and this makes her act even more rudely sometimes, right? And then she keeps facing this judgment in heaven, which she thought it would be like over after death, right? So when we talk about that, everything for Naxun, right? We actually, even though he doesn't seem to understand Heisuk, we know he's a good husband, he's a good person, he's very kind, but he fails a lot in relating to Heisuk, right? And other secondary characters actually talk to about that to him, right? And they say how he's very kind to everyone and how nice this is, but that he should be kind and careful with the people that are close to him as well, right? Basically, give Hisuk a bit of your consideration, extra consideration, try to put yourself in her place, right? So even though we know he's a good person, he doesn't understand her, and that is clear. So, okay, another big emotional point happening in episode 3 and 4 there is that Hisuk gets to meet her mother, right? That's, I mean, if you have any close person that you love, right? And then you imagine they died a long time ago and now you're in heaven and you can finally see them again. It's very, very emotional, right? And she lived a whole full life after her mother died. So there's this whole thing, and it's very, very well done. I mean, it's hard. It's a concept that is hard, right? Meeting your family in heaven, but it's very well done in a way that we feel the emotions and we feel the love, but we are also not stuck in there, right? Because it is our past somehow. And we discover a lot of things about Heisuk and her mother there. Great scenes on that. So I guess after we reach the 4 episodes, um, which is like 1/3 of the series, so I don't know yet the full end. So my conclusion here, let's do a conclusion for the first 4 episodes, right? That if you want to watch, is that we are humans, be it on earth or on heaven. We all carry our past and our struggles with us, and apparently dying does not fix everything, guys. You're still a person and you still feel things, and other people feel and act as well. Just because it's heaven doesn't mean you're gonna magically have everything resolved for you. So yeah, that's a great actually lesson, right? In first 4 episodes, and you already have this feeling, this very deep understanding of it. So that's good. Let me know if you thought something else. If you already finished watching it, if you're gonna start watching based on what we talk here, right? Let me know in the comments what you thought, and if you got another lesson for the first episodes that I didn't. Okay, comment, like, subscribe. Let me know if you want me to review any other series. Thank you. Bye.